Or some assembly required. Hey everybody, welcome to the official second episode of Some Assembly Required, and today we're going to talk about Mechs. We're going to talk about Mechs, baby. Let's talk about Mechs, baby. And I'm not going to sing the rest of the words because I'm cool and stuff. Anyway, you are joined today by your regular, most wanted, and should I say, most dangerous human beings in the world. That is Jim, that is Bart, and that is myself. Oh God, who's rocking
guys?
Music? Yeah. So apparently, my music just decided to start playing. So everybody, we've got a few seconds of my music, which is apparently very rock and roll.
Boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants.
Boots and pants and boots and pants. Okay, so anyway, let's try that again. I'm joined by my regular partners in crime, Bart, Jimmy, and myself. Hey, Matthew Comstock. Welcome to the party. Cool. So today, as you heard by the intro song, we're going to be talking about MECHA. We're going to be talking about how, expanding your horizons and perhaps getting into something like MECHA modeling is gonna help you with your figure modeling, with your action figure customizing. And we're gonna talk about some of the skills and some of the techniques that people use on MECHA and how that translates into figurines and customizing stuff. So that's gonna be coming a little later. But before we get into all of that, firstly, how is everybody? And I also mean you guys in the chat box. Sound off. How are you, gentlemen? What's been happening?
Same old stuff, really.
Okay. Same old stuff.
I guess Christmas.
What is that, Jim?
This is our Christmas show, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's right. This is our Christmas show. And on that topic, have you guys been doing any Christmas shopping?
Like now, no, because I just buy stuff throughout the year as I see it. So I really haven't bought too much lately.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Bart's that guy. He's that like cunning, smart guy that buys stuff during the year and hides it in the cupboard or possibly in his HQ.
Mm-hmm.
And Jimmy, how have you been able to get around to any Christmas shopping or anything yet? Or are you the kind of guy who's going to leave it till next week like me?
Oh, we talking about for ourselves or for the family?
For the family. Christmas is about family. We buy ourselves stuff all the time.
Well, some of us buy stuff for ourselves at Christmas.
True.
I have. Yeah, I've done all my family shopping already. The little lad's got it all secreted away up in the attic. Don't tell him.
Oh, cool. No, we won't say anything, man. Unless he watches this video, then you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
So that is really, really cool. I have done some Christmas shopping. I managed to get my mom something cool. My dad's birthday, incidentally, is quite soon. So normally what I'd like to do with my dad is, because he's very difficult, is I like to go somewhere with him and then try to find something that would be cool for him. And then I'll try and get him something small to surprise him on Christmas, because Christmas for us is it's kind of like a sit down family thing. We're not so big on presents. We're very much on like enjoying the moment. And I think this year is about that. I think this year is definitely one of those moments. But anyway, what have I been up to? I have been working my literal butt off. And I'm sorry, I know I've been a bit of a ghost lately. I haven't been able to do any art streams. I haven't been able to do any videos. I haven't been able to do anything. Because deadlines have been crazy, but now thankfully our clients are starting to close, and so the last little bits of work sort of everything's trickling down to a panic now, so it's sort of mildly manageable, which means I'm going to have some videos out soon. I'm going to be on leave, which means shenanigans are going to happen. So that's cool. That's something I'm excited about. And I'm really excited about getting into some toy modeling and toy customizing. That said, what is on your table at the moment, guys? What are you busy with at the moment?
Jim?
Bart, you go first.
All right. It's in pieces right now. Let me see if I can kind of slap it back together so you guys can remember what it was. It's this piece of crap vehicle they put out a little while ago. So you remember this thing?
Yeah.
And like with the pinchers and whatnot on it. So I got this off a friend of mine. He doesn't collect anything over 89, and he gets like tubs full of stuff. So anything that's not something he collects, it either goes on eBay or he trades me for stuff that I have.
Yeah.
So I do have the cockpit and all the other bits, taking it apart just so I can clean it and paint it. But what I'm going to do is I've added these guns to the sides. They don't swivel. They're just there. But I'm going to paint that.
Okay.
I'm going to paint it up because I don't have the canopy for it.
Yeah.
And that's going to be Destro's new despoiler.
Cool. Very cool. So Destro gets a new flying throne. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Also, I think before we get into Jim quickly, I just want to let everybody know that after this video, I am releasing Bart's disarming of a classified figure video. It is quite a long one, but it's all about how to pop off the arms and all the joints and stuff. So that is happening after this video as well. After the stream, I'll throw that up there. And if you guys haven't,
45 minutes.
It's 45 minutes of Bart's smooth, sexy voice to take you through the difficult evening hours of a Thursday. And then just a reminder, Jim has got part 1 and 2 of his diorama series videos. They are available right now. So if you guys haven't checked them out, go and check them out. And yeah, also Matthew Comstock says, Bart, you're the man, bro.
Okay.
I can't argue with that.
Me neither. Thank you.
And Jimmy, what's cooking on your table, dude? Like, what's happening on your side of the world? Like, in your modeling world?
I've been continuing to work on 12-inch 1/6 stuff. I've been piecing together a 12-inch version of, if anybody's a long-time listener of Joe Berg, we created the character together for JoeCon, Bitterinde, the South African mystery.
Oh yeah,
so I've been a version of him.
Very cool. So I've just got some of your reference. So I got some of your reference showing, but I'm gonna take you. So is this the guy that you've been talking about? Is this the figure that you've been working on?
That's what we're working on. Yeah, that's him.
How cool is this guy?
Yeah.
Wow. Like, dude, like when I saw this the first time, like in the beginning, it's insane how this has evolved. And I can't wait until we do the video series of, you know, where you take people just through a photographic sort of walk of how this guy's evolved and everything. Because he's fantastic.
Well, I think the next video I'm going to do a face painting tutorial of, as we take you through the process of painting this guy up. At the moment, you can see I've been adding, been trying to change because it's a Logan head. So I've been trying to sort of remove those unique Logan-ness elements to him. So sort of bit of bandage over his eye, plasters and steri strip his face over the scarring, and making this little microphone set up for him.
So I just
there's going to be a. So I did think about that. Yeah, I might stick a fag in his mouth.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know what a fag is, that's British slang for a cigarette, just in case.
Bart knows.
Yeah, like the YouTube algorithm just pooed in its pants. It was just like, what did you say? You know.
We just got an explicit warning.
Yeah, we got an explicit, like we lost ad revenue now. So anyway, I just wanted to like say like I wanted to ask. So with the tape and stuff on his face, is that like regular tape, or is that like is that just like really thin styrene, or how did you get that on there? Just as a quick sort of tidbit for everybody.
No, it's just electrical insulation tape. You know, the thin plastic, varied coloured tape. You get in different colours for Earth, neutral, and live.
Yeah,
it's really good for things like this, like plasters and bandages. But it also works on 1 to 18th scale quite well. I did it when I made that LRRP group with Tommy, Snake Eyes, and Lonzo.
all right.
Couldn't find the
right,
find the right arms, the forearms for the bandages on Tommy. So ended up just cutting that down into thin strips and wrapping it in forearms. It works really well at that scale as well.
All right, making your own. So like,
yeah.
So how do you glue that so that it stays there permanently? Because my experience with insulation tape is that it doesn't like to stay there forever.
No, yeah. Just put a little dab of super glue under it. Once you're happy, like this, these aren't stuck down properly yet. So once you're happy with it, which I pretty much am, a little dab of super glue under.
Very cool.
Is the patch putty or is that cloth also?
Is the what?
The patch on his eye.
Oh, the patch. That's green stuff. You know, the need-eye modeling putty.
Yeah. That.
So made a little square out of it, stick it on, and then sort of round the edges, and then put the tape over it where you want it. Where you get a slight groove with the tape, take the tape off again, and then with the sculpting tool, go and make that sort of more defined, those grooves, so it looks like a squidgy bandage that's been pressed down.
Yeah.
And then put the tape over into the grooves.
No, that's very cool, man. I'm just gonna
and the headband as well.
I just want to. Oh, I'm going too far now. I'm spoiling things, but I believe this is some of the reference. Some of the places you took reference from or inspiration from is from the Akira manga. Akira.
Yeah.
Which
that's right. That's,
which is
the second half after the second description of Neo Tokyo.
Yeah, so technically, for those who haven't read the manga, and I mean, I'm included in that, but at least I have some knowledge on it. This is stuff that all happens after the movie. Am I correct? Because the movie only goes to I think it's a quarter of the story. Yeah. So cool. Okay.
Yeah, it's about
So
we're gonna sort of shred this. Dirty the whole thing up, shred the cape bit. That's the guy we took the original inspiration from for Bitterrinder.
Right.
What's his name?
Krug gives it away.
Hey, Outback.
That's what I wanted this cape to look like, kind of real ragged.
No, I think, dude, I'm very excited. I actually don't want to show off more to our viewers just because, let's tease them a little. And here you got some awesome pictures of Solid Snake riding the what is it called? Walker, Diamond Walker, D Walker, or something. I can't remember. Yeah. Gotta say, this was easily one of my favorite games in the whole world. I absolutely love this. I love Metal Gear Solid 5. I'm just showing this off because I actually forgot that you made this, and then I saw pictures of it again, and then I was like, I'm still envious. I really, really would love to make my own one of these because I love it so much. It's so cool. And this is also part of the You sold it to that who?
I sold it last Christmas, mate.
Oh well, dude,
a little bit good,
Oh, that's
but it
fine.
did
You know
pay
what the
for
thing is?
Bill's Christmas presents last year.
Oh well, dude. I mean, you can make it again, and then there's some classic Metal Gear art. And then I'm gonna have what is on my table. I suppose that would be worth checking. So I'm going to change into camera mode. Haha. So this is currently. I did dress it up a little bit. Okay. I mean, my work desk doesn't normally look this interesting. But what is currently like sort of happening on my table is I am busy. I did this Blue Destiny Gundam, and now we're starting to get into Mecha now. I started this Blue Destiny Gundam like long ago. I think it's like a year ago when it came out. I just started like sort of messing around with it. But as it goes with some of these kits or with Gundam stuff and with me, it's that sometimes I know exactly what I want to do with the kit before I get it, and then I'm kind of way in there. And then other times I sort of get the kit and then I let it sort of sit with me for a while. So I'll do the pre-build and then I'll let it sit with me and I'll play with it like a bit of a toy, and I'll watch what other guys start cooking up and see what I can get inspired by, because I'm not like I'm not trying to be the most unique builder in the world here. I'm just trying to have fun with it. And so as I see things, I start getting inspiration. So then I'll start doing like little tweaks to the kit, to make it more interesting. Maybe I'll do stuff to the proportions. Anyway, this was started a while ago, and I sort of fished it out the other day because I just recently got some Mr. Hobby paints, Mr. Color paints, and I'm going to put them on the desk now for you guys to see.
Hey, Paul, what's the name of that Gundam?
That is a Blue Destiny. That is so that's the first Blue Destiny because there's two.
Because I have one, it's called a Jesta, and it looks just like that.
Yeah, so the Jester is the very evolved version of the not of Blue Destiny, but I don't want to get let me get technical quickly. The GM, which is what this is based off, is the sort of Gundam mass-produced type unit. Yes, yeah, Matthew, that is Keroro, Sergeant Frog. So this is like a modified version of a mass-produced mobile suit, but it's also got like a whole bunch of weird secrets. It's got some prototype of the learning computer from the RX-78, and it's also unstable. Like it sort of has this mode that it kicks into, it like becomes like a berserker mode. Anyway, long story short, your Jester that you bought is about, I think, 7 or 8 generations away from this. So this is kind of like the super great granddad of something like the Jester.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why you're going to see that.
It looks like real similar.
Yeah, so, and I'm just going to hold it up to the camera a little, and then guys can sort of see, give you guys a little bit of a preview. So what I've kind of done here is these white pieces, that's styrene that I've cut and put onto the kit. And I know when you see it like this, it looks super obvious, but when you spray it and do some stuff to it, it actually starts becoming it starts harmonizing with the parts and whatever. I've also done the back for that section. And then if I'm not mistaken, no, I haven't yet. My intention is to give it a little bit of more height. So I might like cut up these quads a little bit and then just stick in a piece of plastic there just to make it bigger. I have scored in panel lines, so it has panel lines already, but I just made them a little bit deeper. And then I went in and I scored a few that weren't there originally. So I did add in my own. I haven't cleaned it up properly yet. Yeah.
Do you have one of those panel line templates?
I do. I don't have it to hand right now, but what I do is I have a template. I've got a few. And I actually also use the tape, scribing tape. So you get like a very sturdy sort of tape that you can use that scribes. So yeah, so that's the other thing. And that's one of my...
But you use your scribing tool?
Yes, I do. Yeah, so that I can show everybody. I've got 3 or 4 of those actually, and they're very different. The ones I'll show you now, the quick... so I use this. It's this is done by Hasegawa. It's part of the Hobby Tri-Tool range. I've had this thing for almost 10 years. It's great. It comes with a file that you can keep the point sharp. So that's great. I also like to use something like this.
Is the tip rounded or is it squared up?
What's that? Over here.
Is the tip rounded or is it squared up like a chisel? Yeah.
No, yeah, it's super sharp. It's a pointed tip. Yeah, it's like kind of a V-shaped tip. And then the other thing I like to use, but I keep them I keep them under lock and key. Well, I keep them very far away from people just randomly touching them. But I also have a set of chisels, and I will show you guys one of those, and I'll get it during the show. And if I don't, I'm sure I'll bring it out in a future episode. But I use these chisels that are done by a company called BMC, and they are quite pricey. I was just very lucky that I got them through sort of very fortunate circumstances of working at a hobby shop or working at the anime shop, and that was one of the products we carried. So I just managed to get it for very, very cheap before that recession. And those I got flat heads, and I'll show you guys some of the stuff that I've done with that when we start talking about model kits, about some of the Gundams and whatevers. So yeah, so that's currently what's on my desk to build. And then of course I've got this guy quickly, and I want to get him ready for some paint work. So I want to start breaking up all of that white, so that hopefully I'm going to get to that next week, because yay. And then yeah. Oh, and quickly, but just because I'm here, a while back I worked on this shark. It's a little miniature shark. It's like a zombie shark, and I did some cool little bits of work on that. So yeah, that was fun. And that's more miniature based though. So anyway, cool guys. So
you really got into painting guts and that with those.
Oh, I love painting guts. Oh, it's one of my favorite things in the whole world. So before we jump into all of the madness that is Mecha, let's just give a few guys in the chat a shout out, just to let them be seen, because they've come far and wide. So just a big shout out to let's start at the top. Matthew Comstock, I know I said what's up earlier. Outback Stew. Fenrir Fire has joined us. Hello. Hey, Fenrir. Oh, that's cool. Is that Kashun? Yeah, that is Kashun. Very cool. And then we have also got Brother Malachi. Don't worry, dude. It's all good. Better late than never. And the cool thing is, these are recorded in front of a live studio audience. So you can always go back and watch them again. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, dude, Malachi, it's all good, man. Don't stress. But I hear you, man. I hear you. Anyway, so today is about Mecha, and how does Mecha, how is it going to help you with your model building? So I'm going to start with Bart, because he's just gotten into Mecha modeling. So he has there we go. He's got a Gundam. He's got he's got the Granddaddy Gundam, the RX-78. You can show it again, Bart. Everybody wants to see it. There we go.
And this is 144 scale, so they're like Joe size.
Yeah, which is so cool. Which is one of the reasons I like them, because you can own a lot of them and they don't take up too much space, unless they have like.
My hands are too big. The parts are real small.
Yeah, that is one of the sort of hazards. So Bart's just gotten into Gundam. Okay, he's just like picked up a few Gundam kits. He found them on sale, and So what do you think of them so far? I mean, okay, your hands are too big for them.
I've done this one and one other one. It was that green like soldier guy.
Yeah,
I forget the name of him. But he was the same size as this, and I like them once they're built, because you could do a lot of different poses with them and stuff. They don't. The parts don't just fall out like some other cheap crap I've had. I've been watching a lot of videos and stuff on how the world works around these things, because I don't know terminology, tips, tricks, and stuff, which come to find out, all the tricks that I use on Joe stuff applies to this. I don't really watch a lot of the anime stuff. I'm trying to get into that. Haven't read any of the books or anything, so I'm liking it. I've always liked the aesthetic of this stuff. I just never got into it because it just seemed very intensive. And like this guy, he's got a lot of white. I would like to change the white up some, either add camo to them or just a completely different color. But then I don't want some purist to go, oh, that's a so-and-so such and such, and you painted them purple. Now you ruined them. So
Okay.
I'm at the point where I'm just going to do whatever I want to do because it's mine, and that's going to be it.
Oh, dude, I forgot to shout out. Hey, Mike Horsley. Sorry, man. Sorry, he like snuck in there. I didn't see him earlier when I was scrolling through my thing. Yeah. So I just, I don't want people to feel left out, So I'm going to jump in there for 2 seconds, and I'm just going to say, like, firstly, I'm going, oh, wow, I'm trying to, what's a nice way of saying this without saying a bad word?
Yamazakus?
No, you can't say that.
There goes YouTube. YouTube shutting down.
There goes all the no, you can't say that.
Nobody knows what it means.
Yeah, except for like the whole of South Africa and what he's drawn.
It's like when a toddler learns a dirty word.
Yeah. Hey, action figure expert. So what I was gonna say now was, with purists can honestly fly a kite. Okay, and I'm not saying this like oh, all Gundam purists or purists of any hobby are like full of it, but often those the purists tend to be the guys who always get up on top of like their soapboxes and tell everybody how they should be doing stuff. And the thing is, like, Gundam is such a cool hobby in that, at least in my experience, I've always found, the origin of Gundam is Japan and it's Asia. And my introduction to Gundam was through my Chinese buddy, through David. And, there was never this concept of, you can't do it like that. It was always like, oh, wow, that's a cool idea. I never thought of painting F91 orange. You know what I mean? It's never like this kind of concept. It's only when I found that it's been introduced to the Western world that everybody gets all uppity. That said, in Gundam and in mecha modeling, but specifically in Gundam because I'm quite close to that fan base, you do get a side of guys who do like to be pure and stick to the anime colors. And they like the same kind of modelers that you find who do like World War II stuff. They want that accuracy and they like to throw in a little bit of narrative. Then you get the guys who just do all the crazy stuff. Well, they take stuff and then they like split it off into side stories and they do all kinds of mad things. And then you get another pool of people who build giant panthers out of Gundam parts. So honestly, there's no right way. I think there's just best practices. If you want to make your Oryx 78 brown and you want to put camo on him, awesome. My advice to you is it's a small figure, so make sure that the camo doesn't mess up with the proportions of the detail. Do you know what I'm talking about? You will when you do it, or or whatever. It's one of those things. Just have fun with it, it's a cool hobby. But anyway,
it's like we were talking the other day about like third-party parts. I'm like, can I buy this like accessory kit and put it on this guy and like nobody's gonna flip out or anything? Because I have Zoid parts and other stuff I would like to slap on some of these things and customize them the way I would like them to be. But then if I post it online, I don't want somebody flaming me being like, oh, you ruined that thing because you didn't use Bandai parts or something like that.
Yeah, so like, okay, so that's where there is a little bit of a divergence, an exception, if you will. The competitions that Bandai holds for the Gundam, for like Gundam Builders World Cup, specifically Bandai's Gundam Builders World Cup, they want you can do whatever you want, but they want you to only use Bandai parts. So it can literally be from like any Bandai kit, and Bandai does build a lot of stuff, and you can do that. They have issues when you use competitors, like Kotobukiya parts and whatever's allegedly, and they also really hate bootlegs. So there's that. But then when you look at like Odazaku, and you look at some of the bigger Japan modeling competitions, they don't care, because then that's like the Wild West. They're like, yeah, make it.
Yeah, there
make
was those Supernova kits I was showing you that I really liked because they got some cool guns and stuff, but it's not a Bandai part.
There you go. But like my and then you sort of scratching on like bootlegs, and all I'm saying with bootlegs is I have nothing against Gundam bootlegs. I especially liked some of, like you were saying, Supernova, and there was another company a while back, I forget their name, that they've since been taken out by Bandai, but they didn't do so much as like knockoffs of existing kits. They kind of like decided that they were going to do their own version of Gundam Mecha. So they would take something like the Gundam Wing, and then they would do their own spin on it. So it had had slightly different proportions. So that was kind of like, if you can imagine, it's like model kit fan art. And yeah, so on that side of things, I'm like, go for it.
What about mixing brands? Because like you have the Bandai Gundam stuff, and then you have let's say a Supernova kit. When you put them next to each other, they look fairly the same unless you know what you're looking at. Now, I have that Joy Toy 125th mech coming. Can I put him in with my Gundams, and that's not going to piss anybody off?
They're beautiful.
I was going to say, actually, I would say the design language on the Joy Toy thing is a little bit different to what you expect from Gundam. Yeah. And later on in the show, I'm going to sort of show a few of those design languages off and sort of get into that. Okay. I think it's like, screw 'em. If you can make it work, make it work. Some of the best stuff that's happened in Gundam has happened because guys have like pushed into that direction. And even so much so that there's a Gundam anime series called Gundam Build Fighters. And in that's like a very fan-based thing. And the whole concept is that people make Gundam kits and then they put them into this arena. And when they fight, it's all like virtual reality and stuff. And then they fight each other's model kits. And it's kind of weird because it kind of strays the line between realistic mecha and also a toy that's actually fighting. It's a very cool concept. But one of the creations in that series, and I'm sorry if I'm spoiling it, but I mean, the series is 4 years old now. They've got a super robot. So a super robot is like, when like 5 robots combine to make one giant robot, very much like Go Lion, Voltron. And that kind of thing. So they make there's this thing called Tryon 3, and it's actually like it's like a few different Gundams that combine to make this super cool looking super robot Gundam thing, which is completely not in the Gundam universe at all, but it totally works. And then also Japan has this great heritage in their video games of creating these video games called the Gundam G Generation series, which are all like these strategy games. And they just throw a whole bunch of mech in there. So they've got like Mazin Kaiser, Mazinger, they've got Gundam stuff, they've got Macross / Robotech stuff in there. And they all fight together, and some of them are allies, and it's really, really cool, but they make them all chibi so that the scale doesn't become a problem. So if you can find a way, make it happen. That's all I'm saying.
And they're just going to be on display with all my other mechs that I got. But like Gundam, they look more like humanoid-ish kind of, and the Joy Toy are more like robotic, actual like battle mech kind of looking things. So they're both robots, but they have a different look to them.
Yeah, so like for me in my mind, I always refer to Gundam as kind of like the samurai of mecha. I know that's not like maybe the best umbrella terminology, but that's just how I separate it. Like they're the samurai of mecha, maybe almost super powered realistic mechs. And then, like you get your kind of military style stuff. Quickly, I've seen some very interesting stuff in the comments, and I just want to refer to that quickly. So I'm just going to put us all on multiple screen mode. And then we're going to get to Jimmy. Brother Malachi.
Hi, Jim.
Firstly, thank you, Brother Malachi. That shockwave is from the Combiner Wars. That's a Combiner Wars shockwave, and it was one of those super cheap ones that turns into a gun for the, I believe it's for the Megatron in that series to actually wield them as a gun. That is, in my opinion, the best shockwave that has come out in a very long time. I haven't yet found the shockwave to surpass that one for myself, and I love that it's G.I. Joe sized, and it even made an appearance in a G.I. Joe book video for Cobra Convergence. So check that out. And also, Fenrir Fire, he just picked up the newer Hasbro Zeo Megazord. Very cool, man. I really love the way that they're doing the Zords at the moment. I've been very keen on trying to get the original Megazord from the Power Rangers, the first series of Power Rangers, but it's like the Dino Kyo Ranger, whatever. I can't remember the exact name. Brother Malachi does talk about BattleTech. He collects BattleTech minis, and if he may chime in, due to their constant legal battles with Harmony Gold, it's hard to get their early minis, which were copies of Japanese imports. Now, anybody who knows me knows that I really, really love Harmony Gold when they're on fire. I really don't like Harmony Gold. I hate what they've done to Macross. It's not that I hate Robotech.
Yeah.
I just hate that because of what they've done with Macross, Americans can't experience the expanded universe of Macross, which has some amazing stuff, like looks at Macross Plus, looks at Macross, what's that, the future one, F, I think it was. Man, there's so much great Macross stuff that just hasn't made its way to the States because of Harmony Gold's sort of stonewalling. And so I've seen that happen with BattleTech. That BattleTech is another property that I really like, but unfortunately Harmony Gold has made it so difficult to get anything that it's difficult to follow the law. But I do know that they did used to use a lot of Japanese mecha. And I know one of the famous ones was from Macross. It's actually not the Daedalus, I'm trying to think of the American name. It's the big brown one that's actually a cannon. It's actually literally a big walking tank. I think that's one that they use in BattleTech, if memory serves. Also, quickly, have I ever... okay, no, that's just them talking amongst themselves. Hey, action figure expert, I did shout out earlier. I don't know if you caught me with that. And yeah, and Mike Horsley says, don't concern yourself with what others think. Make them how you want and enjoy the hobby. There you go, dude. It's your life at the end of the world. Yeah, at the end of the day. You know?
Screw them.
Are there mecha characters that present themselves as pacifist or non-violent? Magnificent Kaboom, I'm going to answer you with a very simple question. Go watch Gundam. The whole Gundam series is literally full of pacifists and non-violent people that are forced into doing things that they don't want to do. Amuro, it starts with Amuro. Yeah, geez, like, and then you get like the most, in my opinion, the most annoying protagonist, Kiro Yamato, and he is such a pain in the butt because you're like, I don't want to fight, you know. Anyway, he's very annoying. I'm not saying that pacifism. Yeah, I'm not saying pacifism is bad. It's just, but Gundam is very much a commentary that is anti-war. It's very anti-war and very pro-mankind actually figuring its stuff out and like literally trying to, move forward. And war and madness is always what stops us from doing that. So yeah, Magnificent Kaboom. Yeah. So yeah, there we go. Also, cool. Now, Jim, what do you think of mecha? Like I know that you've even done some mecha stuff, so which I can show off for you. So
yeah, go on. If you fire at the pictures, we'll run through them.
We'll get through them. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to sort of take it from the beginning.
In terms of Gundam.
God damn.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll start with I'll have in terms of Gundam, which you don't have any images of. I'll have So. Sorry, guys. Epilepsy
I've got a
warning.
boy here.
Flip faster. Yeah. I haven't gotten a seizure yet.
Okay. I'm going to take you to one of your mechs that you've done, that you've built. yeah. So then that way at least people can see what you've done. This guy is so cool, dude. I can't believe.
Yeah, so this was.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Godfrey.
That's
Wow.
Star Wars.
With a Gundam
Yeah,
piece,
That was
I see you at
the
least.
second.
Okay,
Yeah, that was the second custom vehicle I ever built. But yeah, based on that Star Wars Walker, but it's got a few Gundam pieces added to it, a ruckload of stowage stuck to it, little bits of
Very
Gundam
nice.
armor on the side. I was
Which
trying
unless
to recreate something similar to the D Walker aesthetically.
So yeah, the
It's a
D
lot
Walker.
different,
That's
but that's what inspired it.
and that is this dude. Correct me if I'm wrong. That gun, at least the front portion of that gun, is from a Gundam kit.
Yeah, it's from I think it's a Gilgug
Yes,
1
that's
to
right.
144.
Yeah, that's a Gelgoogs. And as people, if you guys know World War II weaponry, you'll see that that's very similar to I think it's the German LMG, if I'm not mistaken.
MG42.
Yeah, the
There we go.
42.
Yeah. Thank you, gun freaks. Terrence Childs wants to know, are they for sale? And hi, Terrence Childs.
That is in my workshop. That's been on the shelf for a while. Yeah, you can buy it off me if you want.
You buy now.
Yeah.
Wow. And there's even a G.I. Joe backpack there. I recognize that backpack. That like one that swings open. It's like basically it's a toolbox that you strap onto a dude.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, it's magnificent. It's magnificent kaboom, some would say. I think you'll love that. Guys, I mean, that's a very good example of mixing Gundam parts into your toy parts to get a very believable toy. I'm actually sorry, the sort of weirdness. Yeah.
They make great fodder for Gundam kits. Years ago, and I built them as they were, like a dry fit, just put them together.
Yeah.
And they're pretty nice kits just for relaxing, aren't they? And then once I was done with them, I broke them all down, and I've been using them selectively as parts since, because they just have so many nice little mechanical engineering features that you can just stick on as kibble to vehicles or exosuits or armor, or as sort of bits of industrial landscape on dios like vents and hatches and stuff.
Yeah,
they're a great resource.
I also like a bit of a weird thing that I like about Gundam parts, and it's like you wouldn't think so, but if you got some like green stuff and a little bit of glycerine or Vaseline, just giving Bart a chance to make a dirty joke. Okay, he's missed it.
Bart's got a tub by the bed.
You can make some very, very cool molds, like stamp molds. So out of Gundam parts, especially things like the feet and the backpack. You know, if you slap them onto some green stuff, and you do a bit of a cast off, or if you use some blue stuff and you cast that off, and then you make a little mold out of some of the Gundam stuff, not with the intention to maybe make a replacement Gundam part, but to create an interesting bit of kibble or greebly for your dioramas or for like other things. So that's one thing Gundam does definitely offer a lot in that respect. And also something with Gundam kits, and actually with Bandai kits across the board, they all use, I think it's a 2mm sized hole and peg system. So you do get a very like strong community of Gundam kit bashers, guys who just, for example, will take a whole bunch of Gundam kits and bash them together, very much like action figures, but in a weird way cheaper and less stressful. So it's a good way, I feel, to like practice kit bashing, is to like get a Gundam kit or to get a bunch of Bandai kits and build one or two, get an idea of how they made, and then you'll see that the ball joints and all that stuff are actually all the same size, or they share a lot of similarities in size. And if you need to, it's not the most difficult thing in the world to customize to make a ball joint bigger or smaller for kit bashing. So that is definitely something I found that helps Gundam quite a lot. Well, that helps your figure customizing quite a lot as far as Gundam goes. Sorry, but I'm just leaving images of your awesomeness up here because we are in your section. But Jim, have you ever built a Gundam like for yourself from beginning to end? Like, have you painted one up or done anything like that?
Not painted any recently. God, about 15 years ago, I bought a couple of 144th ones and camoed them up, just like Bart's going to ruin his doing. But recently, I've been making. I made this in the summer. It was
What is that? Let's get you on the big screen.
Oh, I got that guy.
Yeah, it's a real grade. Yeah, although you've got a HGUC version, so that's the real grade. So that thing is like superposable up the yin yang.
Oh, it's lovely.
Although to be fair,
the articulate's done it fantastic.
And to be fair, the one that Bart got, which was released earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken, re-released earlier this year, gives the real grade a run for its money, eh? So
I haven't built them yet.
Oh, the Zaku is such a cool kit. I love Zaku's.
It's so detailed as well. I mean, even under the armor, there are so many parts that go into it that you don't actually see unless you actually want to do exposed sections on it. They give you so many options for how you want to build it and create it. So
wait, hold it up again quickly.
Did you paint that pink?
Huh?
No, that's its actual plastic color.
Huh.
Oh, okay. That's actually a master grade. Sorry, just when you held it up to the camera, I couldn't tell the scale. No, that's a master grade.
Yes.
Yeah. Bart, you're gonna love those.
1 to 100.
Yeah, those are really big. They're like they stand at about anything between I'm gonna use centimeters, but 15 and 30 centimeters, depending on which mecha or which mobile suit you get.
15 centimeters. That's like 6 inches, somewhere around there.
Yeah. So you're looking at 6. Yeah, you're looking at 6 to 12 inches for that scale usually. There isn't. I love it. And if you're wondering,
never.
And if you're wondering why Char is pink, Char is like one of the coolest. In fact, a lot of people regard Char as the main character of Gundam, over and above Amuro, because Amuro in a lot of ways is kind of a spectator to the 1 year war, and then gets pulled into it, and his actions do actually change a lot of things in the 1 year war. Obviously, I don't want to spoil too much stuff, but Shah is actually on a real crusade to actually kill members of a specific family for having murdered his father. But that's oversimplifying it. It's actually a lot deeper than that, because Shah's father is actually somebody.
Oh, mate, if you read the Gundam Origins story, it goes so deep, doesn't it, into Char's backstory and his motivations. It's so good. Such a great sort of action political thriller, isn't it?
Exactly. Hey,
that's a single guy. That's a single guy.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, because I was just watching that unicorn one, and there was ones like that, like different colors.
Yeah. So that's okay. So without getting into too much of it, Shah's Zaku is painted red because he's known as the Red Comet. And Shah also likes to. He's an ace. So they're kind of trying to evoke that feeling of the Red Baron. So he likes to actually draw a lot of attention to himself, not because he's arrogant, but not because he's actually quite noble and he's a very good fighter. So he actually likes to draw a lot of people's attention to him for strategic purposes, because then it helps his wing mates sort of flank and destroy enemies. And Shah is very tactically minded. And when I show you guys some of my stuff now, you'll see quite a bit of SAR, because I'm a bit of a SAR fanboy. But also that is a tradition now that's sort of run through. It's like a trope that was created in Gundam or by Gundam, that there's always a lot of anime has followed this, of like the mysterious masked badass, who's sort of chaotic
with the lovely hair.
Yes, with wonderful blonde locks and whatever. But they follow that SAR archetype, and there's quite a few. There's some interesting things in Japan, like about how like anything that's got like SAR's colors is 3 times faster, because the SAR's Zaku is actually 3 times faster than a normal Zaku, and it's quite a famous quote from the anime. It is also on its build. You'll see it's actually got additional thrusters in its legs and stuff. So the whole joke in Japan is if you buy like a SAR themed razor blade, it's 3 times sharper, or it will last 3 times longer. Or if you buy a SAR cell phone, the battery will last 3 times longer. So it's kind of like cute little thing that Studio Sunrise and the owners of Gundam have sort of capitalized on a little bit, which is really cool. Anyway, enough about that. So Jim is very happy with his Zaku. Are you? So your plans with your Zaku now? Are you looking at maybe building that stock, like as in in the colors that you see it in? Have you got ideas for it?
Something similar, yeah. I do want to keep. I do like the green Zaku. That's very kind of iconic look, isn't it, for the Gundam universe?
Oh yeah, very much.
But I think I will keep it red. I'm gonna strip down the armor. Go. I won't do too much work to the sort of under the skeleton underneath. I'll do around the joints, and that I'll do some metallic effects on any exposed parts. And then with the armor, give it a sort of zenithal undercoat.
Highlight. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then I'll go like this. I'll go for a couple of different kind of reds. Yeah.
Cool, man.
You get a lovely decal sheet with this.
Really yes. Nice. No, you do. Yeah, they're all dry transfers. Just a heads up, okay? Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing that I do love about Gundam. I've bought tons of Gundam decal sheets for things like G.I. Joe customs, because all the little warning signs and the little bits of white text and the stripes and the nose art and stuff, they're so good, and they work so well on all sorts of different kinds of customs. But things like all the grenades that I make, down to 1 to 18th ones, I like to put a bit of text on it and all that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is a 1 to 6th one. You see the text along the top. It's kind of, you can't really make it out.
Mm-hmm.
That's from a Gundam kit, and along the bottom here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. This works really well.
That's very cool, man. So like that's something I give the bootleggers a lot of money for that. Well, when I say I give them, if I can find bootleg Gundam decal sheets, I often buy them. Not because I'm cheap, but a lot of the 1 to 144 kits actually don't have decals. They come with stickers, and I absolutely hate stickers.
Yeah, me too.
And yeah, but that's just me. I'm not I'm not the spokesperson for every Gundam builder out there. Okay, cool.
It's looking flush on the armor, don't you?
Yes, I like it looking like it was painted on, not stuck on. Unless it is actually like a sticker in the actual thing. So cool. So I'm going to show the folks some of what I've done, and then
let me just show you what you sent me, Paulie.
Oh yeah, you can show them. Yeah, that's my South African Army colored GM striker, GM Guardian type. Yeah. So that has some cool mods and stuff. Yeah, I love that kit. That was a lot of fun to build.
It is a
Done
nice
lots of
little-
Kind of looks like a Halo kind of guy.
It does look a little bit.
Yeah,
so,
it does.
Yeah, it's.
Man, that's the other good thing about the 144th Gundam stuff. They are great for building exosuits and sort of powered armor for 1 to 18 figures, aren't they?
I have seen that, and actually, Photo Viper was saying that he wishes there were more 1 to 18 scale mechs out there. Acid Rain is dope, but way out of my price range. Photo Viper, unless you're the kind of person who has gold-plated toilet seat covers, then they're pretty much out of everybody's price range. I also love Acid Rain. I also dig the Joy Toy stuff, especially the 1 to 18 scale because of how well it works with G.I. Joe. And, you know, in Steven's words, 1 to 18 is the golden scale. And I can't dispute that, actually. And I've always wanted mecha that I can slap G.I. Joes into, but it's ridiculous. The pricing is so crazy. If I was like maybe in Hong
The
Kong,
Joy
on
Toy ones aren't bad for the price, are they?
yeah, they usually sit just under $100 or just over $100. So like they're usually like anything between $70 and $90, with the occasional monster coming in at like $110. But Bart's found a secret. He buys them from Alibaba, from AliExpress.
Yep, get them from China. I got that one for like $65. And I don't think shipping was all, or no, on that one shipping was free.
Cool. Yeah, well, I mean, you spent like what you did. You know, that's the least they can do.
Yeah.
So for me, what I've learned from building Gundam kits and whatever's over the years is, well, let me show you guys. It's probably best to show. I just want to just make sure I'm sharing my application window and not my whole computer, because that would just be lame.
Yeah, no nudes.
No nudes. So these are two 1 to 144 scales kits that I did, 1 to 144 scale Gundam kits. In this case, it's the ground type Gundam and a GM ground type, respectively. So that's from left to right. The one I did basic weathering and basic sort of, well, it's just basic weathering. So there's little bits of chips and all that kind of stuff going down on it, or little bits of chipping, should I say. I kept these colored 2 cannon. On this shot, you can't really see his colors, but it's more of a blue. I know it comes out as black in the photo. And yeah, so a lot of this was done with an airbrush, and then the chipping and whatever is hand painted, and then the panel lining, which is darkening stuff, that's done with enamel paint. Well, in this case, that was done, with enamel paints or with the Tamiya panel liner, but I'll go into that a little bit more. But I've actually found a lot. Yeah.
If I wanted to do something like this to mine, what is their armor made out of? Because they shoot lasers, I believe, but whenever they get hit, there's like no real damage, yet you can scratch them.
Okay. So that's the thing. The Gundam stuff that you've been seeing from Gundam Unicorn is you're dealing with well, the Unicorn itself, in my opinion, is like a god type Gundam. Okay, it's very powerful, and its armor is made out of something called Gundanium alloy, which is actually it's one of the things that actually separates. Yeah, it's one of the qualities that separates a Gundam from a mobile suit, from the standard mobile suits. It's why we don't call everything in Gundam Gundams, because only specific things are called Gundam. So in this case, this is called the Gundam ground type, but that was actually done because of propaganda in the series. They wanted the Zeon's army to think that this was a new Gundam to scare the hell out of them. But it's actually not truly a Gundam. It's actually a GM ground type with a Gundam-looking head. And it has, in this case, I think its armor is most likely what's called lunar titanium or lunar titanium alloy. So that is why the ground guys, like when I build them like this, they will get lots of the scratches and all that kind of stuff, because their armor is not as resistant. They're also ground-based, so they deal with gravity. They deal with running through trees that are always whacking them and taking small chips of paint out of them. They're near explosions. You know, people don't understand, but explosions have like quite a force. And if you're looking at something like this, which is a 15-meter tall mech, 40-foot tall mech, I think is the right footage, the right measurement there. But I mean, an explosion caused by something that size, yeah, the debris is pretty intense. And so I imagine, yeah.
If I want to put like bullet holes or take a chunk out of this guy, that's okay.
Do it, dude. Totally
Okay.
do it. The main thing I would just say to be careful with is always this chest area, because the pilots sit here in the cockpit here, and it is very heavily armored. But generally in Gundam, if somebody takes a shot there, they're dead. So to have a Gundam walking around with a big hole in its chest, that is something that that is my pet peeve when I see people put big holes here, and then sort of still try to imply that this thing's alive. And that's not me trying to be a purist or anything. That's just me going, well, if you kill the driver, it's not going to go anywhere. So
well, then why is it whenever I see the head get blown off on TV, it's like that thing's dead? Because as I understand it, the head is just cameras for the guy in the chest to see.
Yeah. Sometimes it depends on the unit. There are one or two units where it really depends on the unit. There's very few of them, but there is one mobile armor style that has like a pilot that sort of sits in the head. I know with the Geong, Shah sits in the head with that one, but generally when they get shot in the head, it's, in my experience with Gundam, it's usually the head and then they get killed, afterwards, they get shot in the chest or whatever. But yeah, welcome to the world of entertainment where liberties are taken. But yeah, the head is not a critical point actually at all. So I'm just going to go to the beginning here of my reference. So usually if I start something like a Gundam kit or whatever, I'll start off with this kind of image, which is either scanned from the manual or sourced somewhere online, and I'll play around with a whole bunch of color schemes here with Photoshop or Paint, whatever I can get my hands on. In this case, this is uncolored, obviously. Then I'll go a little bit. This is another example. This is called the Grim Gird. And now I might even start on it drawing some modifications for myself that I might want to do to the kit, and sort of see how that could look just from a rough point of view without having to sort of break anything on the kit or do anything semi-permanent. And this is all from Gundam so far that I've shown you. This is also, this is Cubelay. This is a machine that is modeled by a guy called Naoki. He is one of the premier builders for Bandai. He's like the dude, or one of the dudes. And what's cool about his stuff is he has this way of doing these subtle little bits of paint chips on it, on his Gundam kits. Even though this is got such a nice shiny finish, he's very good at minimizing the chipping, so it just feels like it's alive, without without being overdone. And of course, the difference between this and the other kits I showed you is this is a very space-based unit, so it's not being affected by explosive debris and all of that kind of thing.
It's and crap like that.
Yeah, so this is, I mean, yes, of course, you get those small little space rocks and whatever that, that are the size of pebbles. And obviously, they're going really fast, and you're in this mech that's also going really fast. And every now and then they hit you and they ding and they cause a chip or whatever. But in this case, that's where you have to sort of stop yourself. And this is what I always rely on is believability, not realism. So, you have to create your own narrative and weather stuff like this to sell it for yourself. And that's something that I also want to take into my G.I. Joe stuff. When I see guys weathering G.I. Joe things, I sometimes feel like they overdo it. They overcook it. This is a Zaku, and this has also got some fantastic weathering. This is a grunt suit. It's a terrestrial and space unit. This one specifically is, I would say, ground-based more than space, just because of the configuration and the fact that it's using the Megala Top Gun. Anyway, long story short, this guy hasn't, he's done little modifications to it and he's made it look fun. He's changed things to the legs. This kind of stuff, how it translates into action figures, it's a good way to sort of look at it and go, well, how married are you to the fact that, a certain G.I. Joe character has to be that height, And in Gundam, what you can do is you can cut off this section here. Pardon me, hold on. Just want to just grab a sip of water.
Yeah, water.
Water. What you can do is you can cut off here at the thigh, and you can actually extend the profile of the leg. You can make it longer or shorter or whatever. And I would like to try and do that with some like G.I. Joe figures, like, or with action figures, and change that profile, because all that is it's the same kind of process. Use a bit of super glue, stick in some styrene sheets, and a bit of putty. Anyway,
well, you're talking about going bigger. I've gone smaller. I've cut thighs and forearms to make a guy shorter, but I've never gone bigger.
There you go. But there you go, especially for your big guy kits. So I don't want to linger on these too long. I'm just going to sort of slowly go through them, and you guys can get an idea of what's out there. This is professional grade. This is like a dude that's won. This is amazing. I love the paint scheme. And this is also just to remind folks as well that if you're going to paint stuff like Gundam or Mecha, or even if you're going to paint your G.I. Joe vehicles, it's these little touches, these little scratches, and this little bit of like spotting in the color so that it's not a complete flat color that really brings a lot of personality into what you're doing, and a lot of like sort of storytelling.
So that's what's hard for me is I like things like pristine. I don't know if it's the military guy in me where everything has to be nice, neat, clean, presentable. Because whenever I try and do weathering and stuff, I mean, I can do it, but it's hard for me to get my head into that mode and force myself to do it, because I just like everything like fresh off the showroom floor. Which
is totally cool. And I'm going to get to some kits now where you're going to see that. Sorry, this is just some more of the stuff, some more of my photography of my kits. Here's actually one thing I can show you guys that's quite fun. Here's an example of a sticker, because I couldn't get a decent decal for the 81, for the 81st or 8th Mobile Suit team. So you can see the sticker on there. It does actually annoy me. But anyway, let's not focus on that too much. This is
pointed it out.
I did, because I'm embarrassed about it. But in this case, like, I'm not going to go and fill in these holes. These ports are allowed for the shields and things. So there is a point where I do kind of go, it's okay. I can live with that. But then in another thing, these holes here, I draw them up a little bit bigger so that they looked better.
Nipples.
Nipples. I've seen guys hang wire off this, so, but on him, because he's outside and because this particular story takes place in the jungle, I put in some rain streaks and all kinds of stuff on him. So, it was fun. In the background here, you can see there's a bit of the paint has worn off here, and it's showing a little bit of the metal undercoat, because these shields get jammed into the ground and they get used as like a portable cover system. So it's not just a shield, it's actually slam it into the ground. It's got a little tripod kind of thing that kickstand, and you can sort of hide the more vulnerable parts of the mobile suit behind it, and then shoot over the cover. Especially because this guy's got like a really big rifle, like massive kind of cannon. Yeah,
rifle.
Well, yeah, it's more of a cannon. I mean, it's massive. This is just some more examples of really sexy weathering. And this is the kind of thing I wish I would see more in people's G.I. Joe vehicles, like these little scratches.
So it's dirty, but then something scratched the dirt down to the clean paint.
Yeah, and it hasn't gone down to the primer level. It's just scratched off that like surface layer, a little bit. And that always looks cool. It's just, but like when you see it from far away, it just becomes this wonderful.
Now you could do that with like the hairspray technique.
Maybe we'll give a little tutorial on those kind of things, shall we, guys?
Yeah, I'm gonna, and I actually have a very cool way on how I'm gonna do that. So let me move right along. Let me just see why this. Sorry, let me just because I zoomed in there, and then there's some more of that on Azaku. Oh, am I still sharing the same? My screen share. Give me a second.
Press the any key.
Yeah, I'm pressing the any key as we speak. There we go. Sorry, I just want to I don't want to bore people too much. This is a heavily modified Cubalay. So unless you know that it was a Cubalay, there's a gun from a different kit. This is my GM in the beginning when I started it. that's my paint job. And you can see that I'm like on the gray here in this detail painting stage here. There's a bit of a mess there and there's a bit of a mess there. And I do that kind of thing with enamel paints. So I recommend, like, for guys that are building like Gundam kits and on your GI Joes, think about different paint types. That stuff's like really, really important. Because if you have acrylic paints, like you got like in this case, this is acrylic or lacquer. Okay, thanks. Hey, Mezdap. What you can do is you can paint enamel over that, and then you can use an enamel thinner very gently, which won't hurt the acrylic paint, because acrylic paint doesn't thin with enamel thinners. And these are great things to take forward into GI Joe stuff as well, or into action figures.
Well, if you paint acrylic on top of acrylic, they could blend together and get muddy. Yes,
that also happens. And also you can't clean, if you want to clean like acrylic paint off acrylic paint, you'll take off both surfaces, both layers. I'm just going to zoom in here a little bit. This is me. This is the whole clean paint job, and I've just done some panel lining. The panel lining, I like to do this thing with panel lining where I don't make it too perfect. I like it coming off the sides a bit because it's representative of dirt, especially because my plan for this kit was to do chipping and weathering and to tell that story of it having been outside for a while.
Now, do you fill in seam lines?
I do, yes. I absolutely hate seam lines.
Okay.
And you're very lucky, Bart, because coming into Gundam now, a lot of the engineering that goes into these kits, they remove a lot of the they hide a lot of seam lines, or they make a lot of seam lines part of the kit. And there's a very cool tool that you can use for seam lines. For example, instead of there are some seam lines that you don't cover up. You actually make them actual panel lines. So
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, is accentuate the seam line into a panel line. That way I don't have to putty it. I just paint the line. Yeah,
it's all part of it. Exactly. Sorry for the bad photo here, guys, but this is a goof from the Gundam series. This piping here on the side, that's piping I made myself. I scratch built that because I didn't like the sort of I didn't like the way that they did the pipes for the kit. And so I scratch built my own one using guitar string and styrene rod or tube that I cut into. This was the test build, and of course I got Snake Eyes over there making sure that I don't cause any trouble. I don't want to linger on any of these for too long. I've just all of a sudden, this is like close up of weathering I did on a Scope Dog, which is not a Gundam. That's a kit from a very cool series called Armored Trooper Votoms. And this is me going serious with weathering. So this is like serious, like paint, primer, surface metal. And this is the hairspray technique. This is hairspray chipping technique. And then of course I've sat there with a miniature saw and just like cut in these divots and actually put in some physical damage as well. This was actually done for a competition, which I actually won.
Good job.
Thank you, man. So this is what I used in it, because I had to send a photo of all of the stuff that I used. Like I had to use products from this specific hobby store, and this was to prove that this is to show what I used to do it. So I actually used some of the MIG weathering stuff, which is actually very good stuff for weathering. Used some of their paint, and then I used Ultimate Primer. I don't love this stuff, to be very honest. Not for Gundam. I love it for other things. I like not Gundam. It's water-based, so I don't find it's very resistant to like enamels. This is my water, my airbrush,
Correct,
baby. Fine. There's some internal detail. This is before I started messing up the chair and doing stuff to it. But yeah, I did a lot of stuff like putting in oil, in like grease into the pistons and that kind of thing. Once again, something you can take into your GI Joe stuff is the chipping technique. It's very, very good. And also using like weathering washes into some of your GI Joe vehicles and stuff, just to give them that extra bit of sexiness. Sorry, I'm just going to fly through some of that. That's more of my Scope Dog looking mean and keen. I did a bit of a Zimmerit kind of welding pattern here. It's not really Zimmerit. It's more of a welded pattern. This does not exist in the kit. That's something I did myself. Also, another thing that would be cool to see on some GI Joe vehicles. This is the Barbatos from Iron Blooded Orphans. This is a very different looking Gundam. Here, I played around with a lot of techniques, so I've almost over-weathered this. I've almost over-chipped this, and it's a bit like, I would say, immature in the approach. But I did it more for the practice of it. I was just wanted to just practice painting all these little chips. So that's another thing. Get yourself a nice cheap Gundam kit. Practice all these cool little techniques on your kits. Take them through to your Gundam, to your GI Joe stuff. Yeah, that's my example of a super clean build. That's like a little bit of dirty panel lining, but otherwise super clean. There's no weathering on this kit at all. So that's my goof from another angle. You can now start seeing the guitar string coming through there, which gives it a bit more of a presence, in my opinion. So I'm also deadly competition. Thanks, Magnificent. Here, I just put some scorch marks because this is a hand cannon. Full made puns. I also sharpened the points here on the goof's spikes and horns. And there's some pictures of how I did that. Here's some diorama stuff going on. Yeah, so I'm just sort of going to fly through this. There's all the products I use. So there's panel liners. I love these, and they are enamel. So they're great on like an acrylic base. So if you use them on something acrylic, they won't kill your acrylic paint. And you can use white spirit or lighter fluid to clean them up. So fun fact, yay. Here's me actually with a real bottle of chipping fluid. Let me tell you, I will never buy chipping fluid ever in my life again because hairspray is so easy to get hold of. You don't need chipping fluid. It's a gimmick. I just got that chipping fluid because it came with a bunch of other stuff in the box. This is the goof in its early phases, and I got old Thrasher there in the background. And you can see on the goof here, you can see the horns onto spiky. And so, and also, oh yeah, that's a fun one. See the eye is a sticker. I'll zoom in there for you.
Yeah.
Okay, the eye is a sticker. So here's a cool little trick for everybody. You take in this case, I took the sprue of a Gundam's beam saber. That's the lightsaber thing. And I made this little eye, and I drilled a hole into that portion and popped the eye in there. And that's how I made my little goof eye for that. So that was cool.
Very much better.
I do that a lot with Xeon stuff, anything that's Xeonic. And then here's just a bit of styrene that's shaped into sharp, pointy bits. Sorry for taking you guys through Paul's holiday tour. There's some unbuilt Gundam kits in the background. Paul's stash and some weathering. This is also another thing to be careful of.
Nice on the feet there.
Thanks, man. Yeah, so this is something that people do. I also find to be quite a pet peeve. A lot of rookies do this, or beginners. It's not it's not the end of the world if you do. You can actually clean it off pretty easily. But this thing is huge. The dust does fling up, but give it gradation. You know, give us an intensity and then work your way upwards. You know, intense dirt, clean. Intense dirt, clean. That's overcooking my crossbone a high grade. And yeah, that's all of my fancy photos from this. There aren't any others that I can think of to show you guys. So anyway, that was just to show you some of the stuff that I've done, so that you guys don't think that I'm just like, you know, talking out of my butt. I had to earn my spurs here a little bit, you know.
Now, let me ask you a question real quick. I got a couple of these. Can I put those in with my Gundams? That's okay? Because
Yes,
I don't think I'm going
please
to put them with my Transformers. I think I want them with my Mechs.
I think that's a good idea. The aesthetic on them is actually pretty cool as well. They do have a very Gundam-ish. You know what you should do, and every Gundam fan really loves this. You should put them with your Gundam kits and then call them all Transformers. Gundam fans love that shit. You know? So, yeah, you should totally do that. Magnificent Kaboom wants to know if Bart and Jimmy have nicknames. I have nicknames for Bart and Jimmy. I just don't know if I want to share them on air.
I have one from a very long time ago. Go ahead, Jim.
Well, my girlfriend refers to both of you as my mistress.
Somebody's Soho Joe.
Yeah, that's Soho Joe. No,
Inside joke.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's Pookie and Schnookums. So yeah, so that is a bit of a Gundam showcase. And while
Well, you
we're
didn't
here,
answer the question.
what question?
The nicknames. Jim, what's your nickname?
I don't want to say, but it's embarrassing.
Your alias.
What, the one you gave me?
Whatever people call you on the streets.
You bum. Yeah, I have got a nickname for real one that you christened me with.
Yeah. I just, like I said, Pookie and Schnookums. So I just won't tell you which is which.
Jim Paul, Naughty Bum.
Slow clap. So guys, that's Gundam. That's Gundam building, and there's a lot of great techniques and things that are in Gundam. And over the next few, as we carry on with this, I'm definitely going to sort of put a spotlight on some of them. I've got some very cool tools coming that I was hoping would have arrived for this live stream, but they're only going to get here like tomorrow. And it's these weathering pencils. And I'm very excited to see what I can do with weathering pencils. And I want to share my experience with everybody once I have them and once I've done some stuff. And hopefully you two can be inspired and you'll be able to take it to the next G.I. Joe level. The reason that we have also done a mecha episode is because I'm still waiting for parts that Jim and Bart have sent me to build the ultimate Steel Brigade figure from my side, so that I can actually do a proper G.I. Joe custom, because I haven't got any like modern era G.I. Joe fodder parts, so to speak. I don't really have sacrificial G.I. Joes. So yeah, we were hoping we could have done that episode, but hey, maybe that's a good way to start the new year, or if I'm lucky. Otherwise, we'll probably have to do that in February. And then I'm hoping we can get Mezzed Up One over there to come and bring some of his 12-inch G.I. Joe customs that he's done that are very, very cool. And then him and Jim can talk, 12-inch Joes. So, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Gentlemen, let's turn this to, do you guys have any questions? Just before we move on to our next, until we move to our commenters and viewers.
I've been asking a bunch along the way.
You've been asking a bunch during stuff, yeah.
Yeah, all the ones I had questions about have been answered. So.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I think if we do, if maybe all three of us maybe do a little weathering chipping tutorial each to sort of put across the techniques that we use for everyone. We can sort of give away the hints and tips.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Mezda. Yeah, guys, that'll actually sounds like a really cool idea. Like maybe we do like each of us can do like 5 minutes of weathering a piece or whatever's, and then I can pop them onto like one whole video.
Yeah.
And then the Paul technique, the Jim technique, and the Bart technique. And the thing is, like, maybe we give it a date. We just go as of 2020, because the thing about weathering is that you always get better with it as you discover new tools and new things to do it with. So
yeah.
Although I must say, I think out of the three of us, I think Jimmy's one is the most tried and tested. Gentlemen, if I could ask you very kindly to entertain our viewers, I just need to step out for 2 minutes or for a second or two. I'll be right back.
Oh, not that kind of entertainment.
And when I come back, you better still be wearing your clothes.
Should we make out while he's gone, Bart?
Sure, why not? Your third part of your video is getting ready to come out, and I wanted to have something worked on for this show, but I got busy with other things. How have the comments been going on the YouTube feed for your build?
And he's back.
We've not had many questions.
Okay.
No, we've not really had people asking questions or for advice from it. So, people are
No, we
actually
haven't
building
yet.
along, or
Just having us in the background.
no?
They've got guests over and they've just managed to stumble on a live stream, which is peculiar. I'm hoping that some people have formed drinking games based on our live stream. Although, as we go through, we will all have our little idiosyncrasies, and I'm sure people pick up on that. I hope. But with that said, has anybody in the comment has anybody in the comments got questions? Has anybody in the comments section got any questions about any modeling? It doesn't have to necessarily be what we spoke about today. Like anything that you're stuck on your particular project. Yeah, let's let you guys work out some questions, and you can shoot them there. Hopefully, we will see them. I suspect Bart will see them before I do because I have a delay on my chat box.
Yeah.
I am really excited. Another project, just while everybody's working out some questions, I'm really excited to do this kit, and I'll show you guys now. I'm going to just grab it out of here. And it's very thematic. You know, I just threw my earphones off, so I'm sorry.
Oh, sexy.
To the ground. So I'm very excited to build. Oh, okay. Well, now my camera's decided to stop. Hold on.
You're a mess, Paul. You're a mess.
I am a mess. I confess. How did that happen? Hold on. Rebooting. Okay, well, I'll just change to non-camera mode for now. Ah, that's a cool question, Magnificent. You guys see that one?
Will resin copies be made of SAR projects for sale?
Yeah. So, like, I think there is a legal issue in some respects. But that would be cool if we could do that. That would be great.
I don't know how to cast. Honestly, I would like to learn. I've been saying that for a long time. I mean, I know the basics, but like on a large scale, I've never tried anything big. I know you're 3D printing some stuff. How's that going?
I am, yeah. It's going. I actually just got the first images of the first test prints from the new 3D printer, and I got to say that like that thing's insane. And we weren't even using the proper resin for it. There's like specialized resin that you have to use for these prototype 3D printers. When I say prototype, I mean the 3D printers that print high quality 3D models for prototyping. And this thing just using the standard resin, wow. We printed out one of those Stormtrooper. It's like a Stormtrooper helmet where you can see the skull because it's like a part of it's been blown off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's like the test model, and I compared it to the one that I've got here, and wow, leaps and bounds. So we're moving forward on that. Unfortunately, it took a while for that printer to actually get to South Africa because what had happened is the suppliers had run out of stock, and something 19 has made shipping a little bit unbearable, and so so that was just a bit delayed in its delivery, which has set me back. But the good news is that all the important stuff, like a lot of the 3D and whatever's that's needed to print that backpack or that jetpack, are actually still on. They're still going. They're still going forward. Yeah, I have a video feed again. Amazing. There we go. But yes, if you guys can't tell, I am looking forward to doing this guy. That's the Bandai Boba Fett kit.
Huh.
I've been dying to do this thing for a long time. I've been wanting to come again.
What scale is that?
It is 1:6 scale. I mean 1:12 scale. Exactly 1:12 scale. So it is basically a classified Joe or a Black Series Star Wars scale. And here's the fun thing, guys. If you build 1:100 scale Gundam kits, the ball joints are compatible. So I've actually seen guys that have done put stormtrooper heads on like Zaku bodies and put Zaku heads on stormtrooper bodies and painted up the stormtrooper in Zaku green. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So
was that the somebody had done that cyberpunk Zaku that you showed us?
Yes. Yeah. So
that was a 112, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's really cool. So you can do that kind of stuff. So Bart's like, I think I'm gonna go and pick up a Bandai Star Wars kit now from Hobby Lobby or Michael's or
the Boba Fett. Yeah, something else probably not. I like the Mandos.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's Mando kits coming. I think just because of this year being what this year is, I haven't seen a lot of footage from like Tokyo game shows and whatever's, or the Tokyo toy shows. But I am pretty sure that we're going to get Mandalorian Bandai kits. And unfortunately, I can't get them through my normal channels. So every like kit I've got from Star Wars has had to be like through Steven or somebody that's gone overseas, because my normal source, they're not allowed to ship Star Wars stuff out of Japan. So, yeah, because of that's just it's just annoying. And it's because I
was gonna say that Mandalorian show really got me into the Mandalorians, because I could give two poops about Star Wars, really.
Oh yeah.
But we can't talk Mando because Jim's here.
Yeah, no, yeah, and we don't want to spoil it for people. I mean, you know, not everybody has Disney Plus.
Well, I've had I don't know if you remember back in the day, the helmets that you could wear, voice changer ones for kids.
Yes.
They made a Boba Fett one, which is the same style of ones that I use to make my Optimus Prime and Bumblebee motorcycle helmets.
Oh, yeah?
So I've had one to do a motorcycle helmet of Boba Fett, but now I'm actually thinking about getting off my ass and making custom motorcycle helmets again, but doing it in the style of the Mando. I would just have to cut that antenna thing off, I guess.
Oh yeah, the side. Yeah.
The eyepiece thing.
Yeah. So that's cool. That sounds like a lot of fun. Wow, dude, that's insane.
You've seen my helmets though.
I have seen them. Yeah, that is actually very, very cool. Also, Photo Viper, if you're still here, man, thank you very much. I appreciate your comments on the lighting and photography and on the kits. That's something that I think we're very lucky with, is that all of us have definitely worked on our craft for a long time. And I'm not embarrassed or ashamed of anything I do, but that doesn't mean I think it's the best ever. I'm just proud of the fact that I can build a model kit and look at it and be happy with it. So
I want to grow up and be Jim Godfrey.
Yeah, when I grow up, I want to be him too.
Never grow up.
So, gentlemen, seeing as we haven't got any questions from our viewers, I think, and we haven't got any pictures or anything from our viewers, or any viewers giving us tips. When I say tips, I mean like advice on what techniques. You know, I think we can slowly start bringing this one to a close for today.
You got any G.I. Joe news or anything?
Yeah.
No, not that. I mean, like, toy stuff. We talked about Flint and Lady J. If it's just anything else on the horizon, in the world of Joe.
Well, there are a few things that are coming in the world of Joe. There's some classified stuff that I've just recently seen on the Hasbro showcase thing that they did. And I see that we're getting like serious repaints. I know sort of maybe I might have mentioned this before, but there's like repaints of all of the some of the first wave characters coming in without the gold. Mm-hmm. So That's pretty cool. So for those of you who actually do want the gold on there, we'll show you how. Yeah, G.I. Joe is, there's some cool stuff coming with the classified. I know a lot of people, and I know I sort of spoke about this a little bit with Cujo, and it sort of came out a little bit, but I'm really excited for the Zartan figure that's coming out. I'm really, really, really amped for that toy. I think it's going to be all kinds of awesome sauce. I'm holding thumbs that in hand the Flint looks better. I'm not saying he looks bad. I just think he looks too blocky for my liking. It's a weird thing. I don't know. Like, how do you guys feel? Like, have you seen them, Jim? Have you seen the pictures of Lady J and Flint that are coming from the G.I. Joe classified line?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I feel like a few of the classified figures have that kind of blocky bulkiness to them. They're not very sleek.
Yeah.
In their proportions.
Flint looks like he's on steroids.
They're kind of. Yeah, it looks a little bit. I don't know what the word is. Maybe blocky's right, Polly. Yeah.
Stocky, maybe.
Stocky as well, but I mean,
kind of.
Gung Ho and Roadblock are stocky, but they look good. They look round. They look sexy. I mean, for toys.
I feel like it's in the legs. I mean, if you got that Storm Shadow on hand, Paulie.
I'll put him on camera. Yeah.
In the legs, they don't look very sort of athletically slender. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. They're kind of
legs that are thick, but straight up and down.
Yeah, they're thick. They're thick boys.
I think Bobby's proportions on the action stuff look better.
Yeah, I gotta say, Bobby's stuff is looking very good. I cannot wait until his figures ship. I'm dying to get my hands on them. But yeah, I think I think people can see Storm Shadow and Gung Ho a little bit better now. I hope. But yeah, like just from that shot, you can see how much thinner like Storm Shadow's legs are. I mean, yeah, obviously Gung Ho is a chunkier guy, but yeah, in this case, the shape language is just really cool. Whereas I just find Flint is just very square, which I suppose is kind of matches his face in a weird way, but I just find him to be very square. I'm very happy with Lady J though. And I really hope that, and something I am hoping to see with the sort of repaints of Scarlet and with Lady J is something I've already seen in pictures of Baroness, but the Baroness looks stunning. She's got a fantastic face sculpt, but it's well painted and it just photographs very well. Every time I've seen a photograph of the Baroness classified figure, I've always been like, wow, that looks good. Whereas with like Scarlet, every time you take photos of her, she looks like she's high. Or she just she has like a Barbie doll kind of look. Yeah, she
looks like she's 12 or something.
Yeah, it freaks me out. It's like I hate that they've sort of like I love that her face is really good. And it's sort of like it's very reminiscent of like J. Scott Campbell. So I'm like, I'm cool with that. I just like the eyes are so vacant. They're so dead. They're so Barbie doll. And it irritates me.
It looks too neutral.
Yeah. And so I'm hoping that like
I would prefer more grimace or a meaner look to her.
Yeah, or just something.
Squint in the eye, and just to give her a little bit of kind of meanness.
Anima, like
that's what she's lacking.
Crazy eyebrows.
Yeah, because
a great big thick monobrow on
it.
Chin beard.
Maybe we should try some of that stuff they sold in Nam. That's what Brother Malachi said. Yeah. No, that's like but like what I've seen like on Lady J is that her eyes do look much cooler, like much better. And I think that's literally it's just a paint job thing. And I'm kind of hoping that the classified Scarlet re-release has a little bit of a slight tweak to the eye. I also hope Roadblock gets the benefit of that as well, because Roadblock also has like body massage in his eyes. It's just, yeah. So,
Well, what about the
I'm kind of looking
retro line?
forward to you having a face paint.
what about the retro line? I am very excited for the vehicles in the retro line, and I'm very excited for that Roadblock and that Scarlet, because like it's weird. I don't really want the Scarlet. I just want her head, because then I can pop her head on the Resolute Scarlet, and then I have like what I would call the perfect Scarlet. For me. Yeah.
See, the vehicles worry me, because I was listening to What's on Joe Mind, and Mark Weber's on there, and having worked at Hasbro, he looked into what tools were available for vehicles, and he said there's not a lot out there. That's why we keep getting a lot of the same thing.
Yes.
And Hasbro's cheap with the Joe line. They're not going to tool up anything new from scratch. No. So it's like, what are we going to get next? We already have the Wave 2 figures out, and they didn't come with any vehicles. So are we even going to get more vehicles? Because I'm a vehicle guy. Like, you can see over my shoulder, whichever way the camera goes. Yeah, I got vehicles everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I see there's a Rolling Thunder there, like sneaking there in the back.
And an MCC.
Yeah, and Steven's also, he's a big vehicle guy as well. And I think that's the thing with the retro line. Like, the retro line is safe from those of us who love vehicles, and it's also safe from those of us who have most of those modern era figures. I for one am a little bit, and I know I've had a whole rant on the G.I. Joe Book podcast. I think it's episode 177 or 178. It's around there, but it's the one. It's got Snake Eyes for the thumbnail, and he's upside down with money raining down, because I just thought it was like a serious like cash grab, especially that first wave of retro figures. I mean, like, they're not bad. Like, if you haven't picked up G.I. Joe ever in your life, and those are the first G.I. Joes you pick up, they're great. They're good. They're good enough. But they're not blowing my hair back, which I'm kind of happy about, because I don't really have the money for that. Like, I put in that direction now as well. Yeah. So, yeah, the retro line is still a little bit dead to me, but that His Tank is very much alive. Looks at Bart. So at least I've got one. I've got a His Tank at Bart's house, ready to come my way one day. But yeah, because that'll be great for me. I'll get to build a His Tank up from scratch, and I'll get to have the His driver, because I still don't have a modern era His driver. Can you believe it?
That His driver is pretty awesome.
I hear so. I hear good things. See, but that's
why
the weird
I bought
thing.
A second one just for the driver, so I could have a gunner in my other one.
Ooh. No, my dedicated gunner is always Cobra Commander in my thing. I know it's
Jim,
bad.
do you guys get those over there in the UK?
I don't know if they're knocking about the specialist toy shops like In Demand and what's Dave Tree's store called? All the cool stuff. Maybe there, but certainly not on the shelf of sort of big box stores over here.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah, like
sparse,
I think,
mate. Very sparse. Okay.
Yeah, I think. I mean, that's why I reckon we're going to see reprints of the Cobra Island stuff. I think the Cobra Island stuff is going to be like exclusive in America, but I think outside of America, when they do international distribution, I've got a feeling they're going to repackage a lot of that stuff and have it out there. I've sort of said as much to Bart before, and I did have this idea that we were going to get major reprints or repaints of the first wave, and we are getting that because it just seems so weird that like they had a new toy line and then all of a sudden people couldn't like get stuff, and the more cynical side of me believes that Hasbro is playing a scarcity marketing sort of card with that in the form of making these things very desirable by lowering their quantities, so that us as Joe fans, we get all emotional and excited and annoyed by it, that we buy these things without even thinking about it, really, which is kind of like, it's a trick that Nintendo does, and it's something that we've seen them do with Amiibo and with the Switch itself. You know, they've created like a false scarcity market. The more optimistic side of me wants to believe that they literally only made a certain amount of figures. They were taking a risk, and they didn't expect it to have the excitement level that it got. And then upon hearing all of the fans' criticisms about the things like the gold paint and Roadblock's gun and that kind of thing, that they sort of decided, okay, well, you know what, we're going to re-release some repaints of the figures, but then decided not to give Roadblock a better gun, but they did make it darker. So I don't know how that makes it better, but, you know. So that's the more optimistic side of me, is that Hasbro is actually listening to the fan base and is producing smaller quantities, and that's possibly why we're getting pre-orders that are sold out, which is like
they don't even know what the word pre-order means. If they knew what a pre-order was, stuff wouldn't be selling out and crazy expensive on eBay.
Exactly. And so another thing as well, like with the sort of pre-order sold out concept, I just want to remind everybody that there's this little company called Super 7, and I have constant, like throughout the entire run of G.I. Joburg, you know, like through our run of G.I. Joburg up till now, and anytime I'll bring up any kind of subscription service or pre-orders, I always bring up the Maddie Collector, which in my opinion is now turned into the Super 7 side. And those guys know how to do a pre-order, because they basically go, the pre-order is up, and then like 5,000 people go, I want one, and they go, okay, we'll make 5,500 of them, you know, and then everybody gets their toys. Yay! Yeah. Like the Ninja Turtles, like they put up the pre-order, it's like 9 months in advance. I mean, to give people an idea, Michelangelo comes out next year, I think it's October or something. You know, so you can pre-order him. And then Super 7 like goes, okay, well, we got like a bazillion pre-orders. We'll do a bazillion Michelangelos. But for the people that missed out on Raphael, tough cookie. They put that pre-order out there for a long time, you know, and I'm down with that. I'm happy. I love that kind of thing, you know. And if you're going to do a second wave or you're going to do a reprint, then, you know, make it, you know, don't snub your hardcore fans. Just release it in a different packaging or something. Or, you know, maybe take out the turtle comms or something. I'm just talking about like Super 7 now. But they could do that, you know, like, I don't know why Hasbro can't do that. Or why they choose not to do that. But what do I know? If Bobby's watching this, he's probably like, I know why. You know. You mentioned Mark Webber, Bart. We should bring Mark Webber onto the show sometime, I think.
That's what I had mentioned before, you know, having you know, special guests on or even fans on. I think Mark would be good. He probably doesn't remember me. I've talked to him a couple times at JoeCon, online, Facebook sporadically. But he's always talking about on What's on Joe Mind that he's an LBC customer. You know, it's a Lazy Bastard custom. So he'll take a torso that he likes, but maybe he doesn't like the legs. And he'll put different legs on and then just paint the crotch, or, you know, something real easy, or parts that all kind of go together, just assemble them. So somebody like him that people are familiar with, get him on the show if he's interested and say, hey, look, this stuff is really super simple. Anybody can do this. What questions do you have? How can we help you?
Yeah, that actually sounds like fun. So guys, as we're winding off, I just want to mention this will be the last Summer Assembly Required for 2020. Hopefully the world doesn't end and we will get to do the third one in January. Summer Assembly Required will return in January. As I said, after this episode, I will make Jim's video. I'll make Bart's video. I keep doing that. I hate myself. I see you looking at me. Jim. I feel it. I will make Bart's disarming a classified figure video available. And then Jim's video, because that was a Freudian slip. I was thinking of Jim as well. I'm going to try and get his third part of the diorama building out early next week. And late next week, I'm hoping I can have something special out for everybody as well. And then also for our G.I. Joe burgers out there, or our Berg Force members out there, we will be doing our end of year episode next week sometime. So come check us out with that. I may even get these monsters on there with me. And yeah, and you guys, do you guys have any plans, or are there any videos or anything that you're planning on doing that you might want to surprise people with? It's not really a surprise to be telling people. Or do you want to like sort of wait until next year with your offerings?
What do you got going on, Jim?
Well, like I said earlier, I'm gonna try and do a video of the process of painting this boy.
Nice.
Oh,
So how I do skin texture, how I do eyes, those kind of things. I'm gonna focus
Cool.
on.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to editing that.
I sent you
and
those.
Bart,
I sent you those 2 videos on the beachhead and the wire.
yes, I've got. Oh yeah, that's right. I've got those queued up as well. Yes, thank you. I remember that. I knew there was something else you sent me. Cool. So we'll have that. So guys, there's going to be a lot of content to keep you all busy with during this festive season, however you choose to spend it. And you know, please take some time to look at your toys and love them and play with them. And yeah, and if you want to really love them and change them into different toys, yeah, we look forward to seeing them. As usual, please, if you have any submissions or pictures of what you've done, please hit me up on the Facebook group, on the G.I. Joe Book Facebook group. You can always PM me or PM the G.I. Joe Book channel. You can also hit us up on our email, which is arealsouthafricanhero@gmail.com. If you want to get hold of, if you want to send pictures of your creations to us, and we will showcase them here. We'll also put that in the comments. Cool. And also,
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah, cool, guys. Otherwise, that's me.
Yeah. You can chat with us over at the Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally.
So as we start building this, we will make a Facebook group, but I'll just keep it simple for guys. They can pop it in G.I. Joburg and then just tag one of us in it, and then we'll see it.
Yep.
And cool. And yeah, and stay tuned. From next year, I want to do a community showcase, whether you show me stuff or not. So if I do, I'll just tag you in the comments. I'll be like, oh, that's really cool, custom by so-and-so, and then I'll tag you in the comments of the YouTube video so that you can see us loving your creation.
And
okay,
we have that giveaway to do yet, too.
We also have the giveaway. Bart really wants to give away his handy paint spinner to somebody who can produce the coolest looking diorama. So yeah,
It's recycling.
Yeah.
Well, you got to put out part 3 of the video. You got all these people, on the edge of the cliff waiting for Jim's video so they can finish it up.
Yeah, I think we need to sweeten the pot. Yeah, so let's see what happens in January. Like if we don't get enough people showing us cool stuff, I think we got to add something to that spinner rack. Maybe we put like 1 pot of paint on that spinner rack and see how things go.
Use paintbrush.
Yeah, use paintbrush. Exactly.
I said I would autograph it. That autograph's got to be worth at least a penny or 2.
Yeah, well, the brush that you autograph that with has got to be at least a penny or 2. Anyway, guys, till next time, be cool, stay awesome. You gentlemen, stay awesome. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you all in the new year.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and listen to us babble.
Mm-hmm. Berg. And assembly required.
SAR.